Hey guys, welcome back. In this video we're going to service the Audi TT. It's after doing 4,000 miles, so it's due a service. Okay, so after 4,500 miles, let's have a look at the engine, and we're going to change the engine oil today as well. Where's the filter gone? The little tiny filter. There it is. Okay, change the filter, drop the oil, and get ready for new oil. Mango, get down off the car. Mango. So guys, a bit of history on my car. So originally I did put in a 5W40 into the engine because I was told that this oil would be a good oil for a high mileage car, which my car is. However, my car also did a lot of motorway driving throughout its life, and that's why it's a high miler. So I decided to go from 5W40 to 5W30. Now that was a much lighter oil, and I did find my MPG improved. However, I also saw that the engine liked to burn oil. Not a huge amount that you'd notice it, but it would drop a little bit on the dipstick. So now I'm going back to 5W40. So the first job is to remove the filler cap, and we're going to lift up the dipstick. We're going to give that a clean, so when we've drained the engine oil, it won't burble as we're draining it. So when you look at my filler cap, you see there's a yellow scum just up here. There's a little bit of yellow scum inside here, and there's even a little bit of yellowing on the dipstick. So what does that mean, and what is it? So first of all, I thought we were leaking coolant. Not leaking coolant, the coolant level is perfect. So what is it? I asked one of my friends, Porrick, so thank you very much, Porrick, and he said you're probably doing a lot of short journeys. The engine oil isn't getting up to temperature, and that's causing a problem. It's not so much it's a catastrophic problem, it's just telltale signs that the detergents and other things that are inside the oil aren't getting hot, and they're forming into a scum or sludge. But it's not like a catastrophic sludge. It's not going to block the oil strainer on the oil pump. So it's okay, but you do need to change the engine oil, which I am doing, and maybe just drive the car a little bit harder, get it up temperature, drive a bit more. So on the VR6s, yeah, you're meant to drive them to keep the chains from stretching too quickly. And obviously on the 1.8s, you're meant to drive them as well, get them up temperature to stop the oil from coagulating too quickly. And that's all it is. There's nothing really to be worried about. Just drain it all out, and we'll have a look at the oil afterwards. But before we get too far in the video, don't forget to rubber up. Okay, next job now is to loosen the bung. It's a 19 spanner, and we're going to drop the oil. Okay, there it is, going back in. So have a look at it. Thankfully no shiny sparkles or anything like that. Whatever is coming up in the camera is just because there's a little bit of oil on the camera lens. Brilliant. So this is the filter that I got. So this is obviously the one that's just come out of the car. This is my replacement one. That's the part number if you want it. Just there. And which one did I go for? I went with one of the most cheapest filters I could find. My only requirement was 6 holes at the top. Some of them come with 4. I just don't think it's able to filter the oil as fast as one with 6 holes. Should you buy an expensive filter or buy a really cheap one? Personally, I'd buy the cheap ones, and if you're really worried that it's not going to do its job, replace it every 2,000 miles. They're so cheap, they're so easy to replace, I wouldn't worry about buying an expensive one. Okay, let's get this one now installed. So what I'm going to do is just take off the cap and then get a bit of brand new engine oil and just smear it around the top to make a nice seal, and then install it. Obviously, don't forget to put the gloves back on. So what we did was we put a little bit of oil just here and then wiped it all the way around, making sure the seal is well wet. And also when you have the old one off, always good to make sure the actual seal came with it. Sometimes the seal will be stuck on the housing. So just now, after draining all the engine oil, don't forget to put the bung back in, or it makes it very difficult to keep the engine oil in the engine afterwards. Okay, now just after installing the oil filter, you don't have to go Incredible Hulk on it, just tighten it by hand, good and tight, and then that's it done. So from memory, I think the car takes 4.5 litres of oil. So after turning the can upside down, you can see 1, 2, it's after taking 3 litres of oil. It's going to come up to 4, and then I'm going to stop. So we just gave the dipstick a clean. We've after dipping it, lift it back up, and you can see it's halfway up the cross hatchings. So we want to go to the top of the cross hatchings, but not any higher than that. Now, after dust dipping the car again, you can see that the oil level is exactly at the top of the cross hatchings. So that is absolutely bang on perfect. So what we're going to do is start the engine. We're going to let the engine oil drop down a little bit because that oil filter still has to be filled, and then we're going to fill it again. Okay, now time for the final dip. All the way in, lift it up, and we're going to check it. Now that is interesting. So that level was all the way up to the top, and now it's about a third up from the cross hatchings, or a quarter up from the cross hatchings. Okay, so putting in a dry filter, that's how much the oil level dropped by. So that means that the oil that we filled to the top of the cross hatchings is after filling the engine filter, but also it's after filling all of the top of the rocker cover, throughout the engine and everything, still making its way down the engine into the sump. So although it's a lot, it hasn't dropped a huge amount either when you think of it that way. So what we're going to do is just fill it up the rest of the way, probably go to 4.5 litres or 4.75 litres. If you did overfill it a little bit, it's okay, because more oil is better than no oil. Now we're up to the top of the cross hatchings, which means we've filled the engine with the correct amount of oil, which worked out at about 4.8 litres. So on the nearly empty drum of engine oil, don't be afraid to write the car that it went into and the mileage. You could put the date as well, but the mileage is most important. So guys, if you like what you're seeing and you want to help me out, you can do so by buying me a virtual cup of coffee at buymeacoffee.com. Link in the description down below. And as always guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.